For most of my life, I've never had a constant friend group. Like I was always floating between different groups, but during that time I always had like my few close friends. Even now I have like my few close friends. That's the one stable thing that I've always had in my life. But what I want to tell you in this video is that it's better to be alone than to be with the wrong people. So throughout high school I played cricket. I was a decent cricketer. What you need to know about cricket in my school, it's a predominantly white sport. So normally just white people play cricket. And most of my friends were black. I know this sounds like racist, but in Zim, whether it's good or not, there's like a cultural difference between the two races. When I compared myself to the cricket team, I was drastically different from most of them. The other players in the cricket team, they cared more about having fun, about drinking, about doing, teenage things, right? And I was more concerned about becoming better, improving myself, making a name for myself at the school. And for those of you who don't know, cricket is an all-day sport. So I'd literally spend days and days with these people. I think on average in a week I'll spend about 16 hours with them, which doesn't seem like a lot, but trust me, 16 hours spent with a group of people is enough for them to influence you. I found that as I spent more time with them during the cricket season, I stopped focusing on improving myself, and instead I was now entertaining ideas of their versions of fun, going out drinking and just wasting time. And 99% of the time I'd keep myself in check. I reminded myself of what was important to me. But there was this one time, I think I was in Form 4, I was going through a breakup, right? Naturally after like a breakup, you just want to let loose. And then there was this house party. Keep in mind I was 16. Actually, I was 15 at the time, that was terrible. And then there was this house party, and I went there, I had a few drinks. Luckily, I didn't get drunk. I didn't do anything stupid. But the point is that when I was around the wrong people, I have nothing against them. They're actually quite good people. I like most of them. But their goals didn't match with my goals. So the point of this story is to tell you that when you're around the wrong people, or around not necessarily the wrong people, but people that don't match with your vision, you will be veered off your path. You will start doing things that don't benefit where you want to go, that don't propel you towards your goals. What I learned from this at 15 years old, which I'm so grateful for because most people only learn this in their 20s, but what I learned from this is that it's better to be alone than to be with the wrong people. And that common saying is TJ! That common saying which has kind of become a cliche, that you're the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with. That is completely true. Because during the cricket seasons, I would spend more time with the cricket team than I would spend with my actual friends, just by nature of how much time the sport takes. And I'd find myself becoming more and more like them. So you need to watch who you spend time with. And if there are no people who you perceive to be good for your life, then it's better to be alone. This genuinely is. I know the discomfort of loneliness is painful, but then the discomfort that you'll receive long term by being around people who are not good for you will be much worse. And add on to that, you have regret for not doing the things that you should have been doing. So what I want you to know, especially if you're in high school, especially if you're in schools where you're around many people and you have this urge to fit in, I want you to know that long term it's better to go down your own path, one that you're intrinsically motivated to go down, than to try and fit in with your friends, and to try and fit in with the friend group just because you're popular, just because you're cool. Because once you try and fit in with a friend group just because you're cool, or just because, whatever, you lose your authenticity. You don't do things that are true to you. And you can fake it for a few months, you can fake it maybe even for a few years, but there'll come a day where you're sitting in your room and you're like, what have I been doing for the past 3 years? Why have I been faking who I am? And you have regrets because you would have wasted time. It's better to go down your own path, because it may be lonely right now, especially if you're in school. If you're in high school and you're so focused on improving yourself, even in university, it may be a lonely road. Most people probably don't think like you. So it's better to go down that lonely road. But I promise you, as you go down that road not taken, you'll find people who are like-minded, who are also TJ! You'll find people who are like-minded, who are also interested in improving themselves, who probably are even further on in their journey than you. Those are the people who add serious value to your life. But you'll never be able to find those people if you're always trying to fit in, if you're always spending time with the wrong people. And even if you don't necessarily find people who are on your path, right? If you go down your own path, you're naturally going to grow, you're going to become better. So it means that you're going to attract better people in your life. It may not be now, it may be a year down the line, but you will attract better people in your life. And then those friendships will be much better than the ones you could have right now with those wrong people. And the same thing applies for relationships. You need to make sure that you're not going into a relationship just for the sake of going into a relationship, and that you're not compromising. Because if you do that, I promise you, a relationship that isn't ideal will hold you back. Seriously, seriously hold you back. So you need to be careful in terms of friendships and relationships. It's better to be alone than to be with the wrong people. So if you're alone right now, if you feel like, you know what, I want more friends. Like, I'm not saying don't have that desire. We are social beings, so we need to have that companionship. But I'm just saying that in the meantime, it's better to be alone than to be with the wrong people.